Hi everyone, welcome to my sewing room. Today I am going to talk about floss. As a smocker, floss is probably the most important tool of our trade, and so today I have some tips for you on working with it, storing it, just all things floss. But first, let me introduce myself. I am Lisa, the owner and designer of Pink Holly Bush Patterns, a line of sewing patterns for children, most of which include an option for smocking, and most of which are designed for knits. So today we are talking about smocking and how we are going to manage and take care of, and just some general tips for working with floss. So tip number one, make sure you strip and squeak your floss so that you get a great stitch when you are smocking. Now, if you don't know what I mean by that, what stripping and squeaking your floss is, I just did a whole video on that, and I will link to it, and you can jump over there and you can check out how you strip and squeak your floss. So tip number two, if you are smocking along and it looks like that skein of floss that you have is not going to finish your entire smocking plate or your embroidery design that you are doing, you want to take a tip from the knitting world. This is where I learned to do this. Do not trust that the die lots are the same. If you're going to have to go over into another skein of floss, even if you bought it at the same time, even if you got it at the same store, do not trust that it is exactly the same. The die lots are slightly different, and unfortunately, I learned this the hard way. They can look exactly the same when you are laying them side by side. They can look exactly the same while you are stitching the smocking plate, but then you will finish the smocking plate and you will step back and you will look and your eye will see where it changed. And then you're like, oh no, now what do I do? So what is the solution to this? Well, I have a shorts that I will also link here on YouTube that shows you actually how I do this, but let me just walk you through it quick. What you want to do is blend the old skein with the new skein. And the way you do that is your last two sets of floss. So let's say you're cutting your strips like 18 inches and you're smocking with that. Your last two sets of 18 inches, what you want to do is take, if you're stitching with like 3 strands of floss, you're going to want to take 2 strands from the old skein, 1 strand from the new skein. Okay, and strip. And then the next set, do it with 1 strand from the old skein and 2 strands from the new skein. What you're doing is blending the color so your eye can't see a distinct spot where it went from one to the other. Okay, and that will help blend it in, and you won't see that line. Okay, let's talk another very helpful tool in just knowing what you have and matching colors is this DMC Color Card. You can purchase this online. I will put a link to it. I know you probably can't tell this in the video, but these are not just printed or colored, they're actual swatches of the floss. And so having this, you know, when I have a skein that I've lost what color number it is, I can match it up to this. If my local Joann Fabrics and Michaels, they are not good about keeping their floss in stock. So if there's a particular color I need and I'm going to order it online, this lets me do it because I know exactly what color I need. This has just saved me so many times. I will put a link to where you can purchase this online. I've never seen it actually in the store. I purchased mine online, and I will put a link to that. But if you do a lot of smocking or embroidery work, this is a fantastic tool to have. It will save you. So I highly recommend getting one of these. All right, let's talk about some different ways to store your floss so it's accessible, you have it, you can work with it, okay? And part of what is going to be the best way for you to do that really depends on sort of knowing your habits and your style. And I'll explain a little bit what I mean by that. Okay, so the thing you'll probably see if you go in the store, you look around online, is winding the floss onto these individual cards. And then you can buy a box that the little cards all fit into. DMC does sell a winder that will help you do that. I will not take the time to do this. If you will, and you enjoy that level of, they're all there, I can see them all, then absolutely go for it. It's an easy method to store your floss, and you have it and you can see what you have. So that is one option. A second option are these little plastic, I think they're called bow holders. These are sold by DMC. Again, I don't see these in the store, but if you go online to their website, you can purchase them. I have a couple friends who use this method, and they are very happy with it. But the key to this method is, you can see it sort of holds the skein of floss. You're supposed to slip the little number on here, but the little paper, but it's easy to lose that. If you then just have these like in a sewing bin or a sewing box, the floss comes off, it gets messy. That does not work well. DMC also has plastic inserts that these go in, and it works almost like a baseball card, but the shape of the insert is different. So they're plastic, they go into a 3-ring binder, and then you slip each of these into the hole, into the plastic, I don't know how to describe it, sorry. It's not a bag, but it's a flat, like that holds, like baseball cards would go in or something, only the shape is different, and you slip these in and it holds each of them. The real advantage of that is then you can have these in the binder in the number order. So if you have this, right, and for example, okay, I want 900, you can go right to your binder, you can flip it to where 900 would be and see if you have it or not. It also allows you to keep track if you run out of a color very easily. So those are all real advantages to this method of storing your floss. It can be a little pricey to set up initially though, depending on how much floss you have, right? Because you have to have a 3-ring binder, you have to buy all these plastic holders, and then you also need the clear plastic inserts to put these in. I, again, probably just do not have the patience to be that exacting, and that's what I mean by you have to know what works for you and what doesn't. I do have, as I said, a couple friends that they are very meticulous and very organized, and I admire their level of organization. I just won't really take the time for it. So what I do is this, and this is a photo box. Back in the day when we were printing out 4x6 photos, this was to store them, but this is still available. I got this at Joann's. I will link to it. Michael sells it, but you can also get them online. And so what it is, you open it up, and it has these boxes. And so I have my floss just organized by color. And the reason I really like this is I can open it up when I'm designing. I can say, okay, these are all the greens I have. I'm putting them all out. Which green looks best? Oh, I don't like this one. I do like that one. Okay. And so it works really well for me. And when I'm done, it's not a matter of having to file it back in its right little place. I just throw it back in the green box, right? And then we go on. And so for me, it keeps me organized, but at a level that I find easy to maintain. And that's the key to any organization system. Will you actually use it and maintain it? Now, the downside of this is this does not help me keep track of a particular color that I ran out of, right? So if I'm using, let's say again, that 900, let's say whatever color that is, and I finish it up, if I don't make a note of it, then I don't really notice that. But the way I kind of compensate for that, and I do, is as I notice, okay, I'm getting low on blues, or I'm getting low on teals, I don't have a lot, I will then just, go to the store and stock up on them. I will go back and I'll use this, and I'll make a note by comparing what I have to what's available. Okay, these are the colored teals I don't have. And then on the next time when I go to my local Joann's or Michael's or wherever I'm going to be, I will say, okay, today's the day we stock up on teals, and I just stock up. 2 months from now, maybe I'll stock up on some pinks, and I just keep myself stocked up that way. Now, I'm not worrying, do I have every exact color? I'm just, of teal, for example, I'm just making sure I have a wide variety and go from there. That doesn't mean that, we don't make a run if there's a particular color that we need at some point, and I don't feel any of the ones I have work. But in general, this works for me 90% of the time, and that's good enough. So if you have found this video helpful, down below you will see a link to my weekly newsletter. I send out a sewing tip every Friday. So click the link below. You can go on over to Pink Holly Bush Designs and sign up for the newsletter and receive the free Daisy smocking plate as well. So I hope you try one of these methods for organizing your floss, and in the meantime, happy sewing and smocking.